my God! Aidan Hutchinson, how about a third time for every single mother sack?
We should take the safety. We should take Hamilton number 2 overall. To expect him to win with all the injuries, Adam, you're just setting them up for failure.
Purest, 100% Colombian, A1, you do a line and you're feeling great. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good.
Good morning, buddy.
Feels good, doesn't it?
What happened this past Sunday?
I believe
Remind me, please.
I believe the Lions played a pretty damn good game, especially in the first half. And they did a lot of what we talked about on Sunday.
Did they?
They did.
I don't remember what we said on Sunday, and I sure as hell don't even remember what the hell I said Friday. Oh my God! Where do we start? I'm not sitting for this show. You think I'm gonna sit? Get the hell out of here! Oh my God! Where do we want to start? How about we start with the offense? How about we start with the offense, ladies and gentlemen?
Wait, Adam, the offense that's tied with the Chiefs for the highest scoring offense so far through 2 weeks?
How about we start there? How about we start with DeAndre Swift being absolute? How about him being an absolute goddamn stud? Questionable going into the game on Sunday. Absolutely balls the hell out. We got our boy Benny Johnson, who we'll get to a little later.
Oh,
kudos to him.
We can't forget about Benjamin.
And you know what? All I've been hearing since he was traded to the Detroit Lions was how awful Jared Goff, or as our good friends who work at the network say, how mid Jared Goff is as a quarterback. Mid quarterback. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Yeah, a few overthrows. We'll live with it.
Some drops
we'll
too.
We'll get to some parts of the game where, all right, they didn't look great. They went cold a little bit in the third quarter. All right. No problem. We'll be objective this morning.
But a win's a win.
But I was told he was mid. I was told he can't make the throws down the field. I was told that you can't win with Jared Goff. That's what I was told. I don't know what you guys were told. Maybe you were told something different. Last I checked, he looked pretty damn good on Sunday. That offensive line banged up looked pretty damn good. Through 2 games, this running game is averaging 7.2 yards a carry. And on Sunday, the Lions shut out the Washington Commanders 22-0 in the first half. Aidan Hutchinson, I'll say it again, Aidan Hutchinson, how about a third time for every single motherfucking sack?
In the half.
Aidan Hutchinson, 3 sacks in the first half. How about that?
He wrecked it. He wrecked
you
the game.
guys tell me. I was told, Jeff, and excuse me, I was told, you're not being fair. How you to expect them to win with all the injuries, Adam, you're just setting them up for failure. No, we're not setting anybody up for failure. No, welcome to the NFL. And I got to say, if I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it. And I would tip it to Dan Campbell and that coaching staff. A hell of a job, a hell of a game plan, especially the first half. They came out and absolutely responded the way you would want any coaching staff to after a tough loss last Sunday to the Philadelphia Eagles, where I'm sure by the end of the year we'll all look back and say, you know what? Adam was right on that game. They probably should have had it, actually. They came out 7-0. Turnover on downs. They had it in their hands, and they let it go. Coaching decisions. What'd I tell you on Friday, Jeff? I don't want to come into a Monday and have to talk about coaching decisions. Last I checked, I'm not going to have to do that today. Dan Campbell, A+ performance on Sunday. Shout out, Jeff.
Gotta love it. And another thing, I want to go to Lions fans, because was I the only one? And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in that third quarter, were you a little worried Because in my head, I'm thinking, well, the old Lions would lose this game. I mean, it's 15. They score 15 in the third quarter. I'm shaking in my boots. And then they answer. Offense answers. Fourth quarter, Riverboat Ron Rivera goes for 2, which made no sense that he should have just kicked a field goal. Goes for 2, doesn't get it. Lions respond again. The Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown late. That, and I'm not saying one game is going to change the entire same old Lions, but that was the difference for me. They didn't lose that game. And they beat a team they should have beat. We talked about it yesterday. They played a clean game, 1 penalty on the day, with 3 backup offensive linemen. That's impressive.
You know what's impressive? Oh, you know what's impressive, Jeff? Yes, the way they did answer. That offense answered the bell twice.
Yes.
It did get to a 1-possession game, and the offense answered every time. They went cold in the second half a little bit, third quarter, few 3-and-outs. All right, very reminiscent of game 1, but they finally answered. They answered, and it was because of Josh Reynolds. It was because of Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was because of Jared Goff. Jared Goff did not lose you this football game. Jared Goff was a big part of you winning it, and we discussed this on Friday, and we did it yesterday on the Lions pregame show. Jared Goff needed to answer the call on Sunday. He had to. Coming off the game against Philly, that first half was a disaster, night and day difference. I got to give a tip of the cap to Jared Goff, too. Way to answer the bell, kid. Hell of a performance. That is what we discussed going into the season, guys. You're going to get a few of these performances out of Jared. Now, is it going to be 4 touchdowns every other week? Probably not. No, you're looking at 1.5, 2 touchdowns on average. I think this guy is going to push 30 this year. He's got 5 through 2 games. Not a bad start if you ask me.
But you brought this up yesterday. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, these guys' performances, they go up, they go down. And I told you on Sunday, who would I trust more in that matchup? Jared Goff. And people thought I was crazy. Carson Wentz should have had 2 interceptions. One of those was dropped by Malcolm Rodriguez. It hit the ground. Jared Goff played an excellent game. I know there's a lot of drop passes specifically to TJ Hockenson, but overall, that offense, I mean, like I said before, they're tied with the Chiefs. With the Chiefs! For the most points scored so far. Now, the defense, we're about second or third most points given up. We'll get to that later.
Defense?
But that offense.
That defense in the first half stifled Washington. We talked about this yesterday. Terry McLaurin, how would he look? He only had 2 catches against Jacksonville. If you actually watched Washington week 1, they probably should have lost. A few great plays by Carson Wentz in the offense. They win that game. You come in a week 2 matchup against Detroit. Detroit has the offense to keep you in football games. That was never the question going into week 2, and they absolutely did. They absolutely did, and I loved every single second of it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the defense, not the best second half, but... By the way, I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. I have a few things I want to cross off my checklist over here.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I was told.
You were told.
Last week that, we got a pass rush on Jalen Hurts. No, ladies and gentlemen, last I checked, what you did on Sunday against Washington is what I call a pass rush. Closing the deal. Forcing, errant throws. That is a pass rush. Ladies and gentlemen, on a beautiful Monday morning, thank you for all tuning in here on the Woodward Sports Network, by the way.
Adam,
That's what a pass rush looks like, Jeff.
But not only a pass rush, in general, I loved that guys stepped up. That was the biggest thing. You had Aidan Hutchinson banged up. Well, before that, let's talk about Dan Skipper. Skipper played a hell of a game, by the way. I think he'd been cut like 5 or 6 times, never started an NFL game. He starts at guard.
6 seasons in the NFL.
Starts at guard. Evan Brown, we know what Evan Brown is, solid. Logan Stenberg, he's building off of last week's performance. Skipper stepped in. We talk about, the injuries they had already. Amani Oruwariye out for the game. Jeff Okudah, your number 1 corner. He gets cramps late in the game. Goes out. Aidan Hutchinson, banged up, goes out. And guess who stepped up? Who would have guessed? Will Harris led the team in tackles. Key tip pass for the interception. You had Kaminsky, Bugs. I mean, talk about the next man up mentality, which we were preaching yesterday. They did it. The next man stepped up. And that speaks to coaching.
What I will say. Oh, we're just going to pull the receipts now. Why not? Let's have some fun this morning. I was told, and by the way, Aidan Hutchinson, that, ladies and gentlemen, is called drafting the cocaine. Purest, 100% Colombian, A1, you do a line and you're feeling great. That's what it looks like. I was told
We should take the safety. We should take Hamilton number 2 overall, because it's a deep pass rushing class.
that's what I was told. How's that working out? And all of you that want to jump off after one game, how do you feel now? 3 sacks. 3 sacks. Jeff, you know what company he joins with players that had gotten 3 sacks
Oh, he's
during
up
their
there.
rookie years?
He's up there.
You want to know the names he's with?
Nick Bosa,
Nick Bosa,
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb, Julius Peppers,
That's some good company.
DeMarcus Ware,
That's some good company.
James Houston, Brian Orakpo,
Max Crosby.
Not bad. Max Crosby.
Hey, he had 4, but still, I mean, that in that spectrum,
Not bad,
and he had him in a half.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
A little banged up in the second half.
Right.
Should be okay moving forward. But my God, jam-packed show today. All right, we've got the Ben Johnson special coming up at 8:30. Not top of the hour, excuse me. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to make NFL history. My goodness. He is arguably the 3rd best receiver out of that class. And that's not a slight,
No.
because only Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle are ahead of him right now.
And they're damn good receivers.
And they are damn good. Jalen Waddle had himself a day. By the way, I'm a fantasy football owner of Jalen Waddle. By the way, shout out.
And I'm a fantasy owner of Amon-Ra.
Shout
out. Got a shout out.
We got to talk about our boy
Those guys.
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, we do.
9:15.
We eventually
9:30,
do.
we got some Michigan State recaps, of course. But, Jeff, we got to continue a little bit.
Aidan Hutchinson, most sacks in franchise history in a game. Did it in a half. That's what your number 2 overall pick looks like. We talked about last week. It's put up or shut up for Aidan. Go out there. And I
Well, he
said
put up.
the best experience for him is facing a guy like Jalen Hurts, who's that elusive in that offensive line, because it's going to prep him well for week 2 against the Commanders. And it did just that, Adam. He wrecked that first half. I mean,
Damn right he did.
he wrecked that
Damn
first
right
half.
he did. I got to say, that was a very, very good performance from the Detroit Lions. The Commanders were a beatable team. That was a winnable game, just like Philly was. And you know what the Lions did? They made the plays they had to make to win that football game. Not often you get to say that so far under Dan Campbell and this regime. You've only said it 3 times. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, 2 of them came super late down the stretch. I would say really it's only 1 if you want to point to Green Bay, but the Minnesota win. I mean, you want to talk about coaching errors. You want to go to the Arizona game, complete dominance, identity game. And it all built into what they did in the draft, what they did in free agency. And I was told by the very same people that work on this network, the Commanders are going to absolutely going to wash the Lions. They're going to wash them. What the Lions do in free agency? What the hell did they do? What they do this offseason? They're still the same old 3-win football team from last year. Guys, we talk about progression. Confident in the moves Brad Holmes has made so far. The coaching staff had to get it right. They had to win this game.
Right.
And it's not just so I can come up here and smoke. I was going to smoke either way. I'm not going to lie. I'm a selfish bastard. I am. But you needed that win because it identifies so early on what you are. It builds culture. How do you actually build it? By winning. You build culture through winning.
But winning early, too, because it keeps you, and I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but it keeps that alive. Last year, they won towards the end of the season when it was already over. If you're winning early, it's good for team morale. It's good for the fan base. It's good for everybody because you're 1-1.
I was told
You're
we
1-1.
were naive. I was told we were too excited for what Ben Johnson would bring to this offense, right? Oh, unproven play caller. He's just another Jim Bob Cooter.